Okay, so what do we have here? Lots of stuff. So I'm going to try and build this and hopefully it will be useful to somebody else who's looking to do something similar. It looks amazing. Straight off, just looks really good quality. This is meant to be a very nice breadboard, which is always good. All of this stuff looks really useful. You've got your breadboard area for your sort of your bits, capacitors, transistors or whatever, and then you've got your interface area here for your pots and jacks and stuff. And then I believe all of this, I think, is already pre-designed to deliver triggers and oscillations and things like that, signals. So that's mega useful. It's got power, and I think this here is the connection point, so you can take your 12, -12 and ground, or 5 volts or whatever you need. So yeah, it looks pretty flipping awesome. So I'm going to try and build this according to the instructions, and I'm going to take it easy and slowly, and I'm going to try to edit it so it's not boring for you, the watcher. So yeah, that's the plan. Try and make this build successful. Yeah, hopefully it's useful. So, building materials. Partial DIY kit, some parts are pre-assembled, that's fine. So, a couple of PCBs. Okay, so the specific model names are the EduLab main PCB, which I guess must be this, EduLab 3. Let's assume that's the main PCB. Then we have a utility section panel, which I think is this. Expansion slot panel. Breadboard panel. This is the modular in-out panel. So the expansion slot panel is this. Utility, expansion, breadboard, modular in-out, EduPot potentiometer socket adapter PCB, switch button adapter PCB. Is that these? EduPot 1. EduPot 1. Okay. Right, so there's 24 of the potentiometer socket adapters and 16 switch button adapters. So these, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. I don't know. Okay, 12. Right. Boards all accounted for. Then we've got potentiometers. I want to kind of assume they're all here. I'll just count them overall, I think. 2, 3, 12 pots in total. So there should be 13. So I'm already short of a potentiometer. Okay, so I think I am short of one M. So I've got, it says I should have 2 B1Ms. I've only got 1, but then I've got all the rest. I've got one 250k, 500k, one 50k, two 10k, one 5k, and one 1k. So I think I'm okay on that. Yeah, I guess things get left out from time to time. 1, 2, 3, 4, excuse me, 5 jack sockets, some switches, single pole and double pole, one each, spacers, should have 16 spacers. Correct. A bunch of connector elements. Right, so I should have 8, 3, 4, and 36. 8 16s, 2, 7, 8 16s, 3 8s, then here I've got 4 40-pin males and 36 4-pins, so let's count them. Thirty-six 4-pins. Good. A couple of LEDs. No LEDs, unless they're these ones. Could be these ones, 2 red ones. And breadboard, plywood base, breadboard cable set, got that, plug, and 28 screws, which I'm not going to count, but I think we're good on that. Now this isn't the full kit, so I don't have the op amps, the trigger inverters, decade counter, all the shift register chips. That's fine because I've got those anyway. And I don't get the transistors or resistors, but that's fine because I've got loads of those as well. I'm also not getting through this the capacitors, diodes and LEDs, but that's fine because I've got those too. So I think we're generally good. I'm short of one pot, but I can live with that. Nice. Right, so it looks like the next stage is going to be a whole bunch of these. Loads of them, 36 of them, then these 16s, then this 8, then a few more of the 4s. And the breadboard goes down. So that is stage 2. Right, let's do it. things were going okay, but I realised that I was using a tip that was probably near the end of its life. I don't know if I can rejuvenate this, but it just wasn't heating up, so I changed it for this one. It's got a whole bunch of gunk on the ends, but the it's a lot thicker than the old one, but it heats up very, very quickly, so I've got better control of my heat transfer, which is good. So yeah, I'm slowly making my way down the lines, so we've got a few more to do here, but looking ahead I realised that I mean it's unlikely that these are going to be out of whack, because there's not too much give, but sometimes they can be a little bit offline. So these things, you get a board like this, and then you break it off, and then you break this bit off, and you got one of these, and one of these fits onto here, and there's lots of them. So I'm wondering if I could start taking these off, getting them connected like that, then I can attach these on like that, which will make the lining up of these things just a bit more, it'll be a bit easier hopefully, and it'll be more likely to avoid problems down the line. So I think, although it's not in the instructions to do that, I think I'm going to make a decision and just do that, because then I can take one piece and just plonk it down. It's easier to hold upside down, there's less wiggle, so it should be more of a straightforward process, because these look straight but they're not absolutely straight, and I'm a bit fussy about that stuff. So that's the plan. I'm going to be making these little drop-in boards first, separately, and then yeah, we'll see how we go. So this is what I mean, just breaking off into fours. So the next part of my plan is to take these cut fours and these headers that were going into the board, I'm going to connect them like that. Then that goes in here. It is all a bit fiddly, this part, but hopefully it'll be over soon. So we've got this, which can then drop into here. I don't know if this is going to help, but you can see that. So that seems pretty stable. So I'm going to give it a test run, see how it goes. Looks okay. So now I can hold that in much more evenly, so the pressure's going in the centre upwards, so I don't need to worry about the female headers being a bit offline. So try and get this done. Just picking this spot at random. Still a bit tricky. Finger acrobatics. Taking my time with this, I don't really have any need to rush. Yeah, so I think that's going to be my method. So for now I can just use the same one. And repeat. Yeah, I can confirm that this method is working quite nicely for me. Obviously do it your own way. But yeah, this method is pretty quick for me, quicker than the other way I was doing it. So for me as well, it's all about, well, one of the things that's useful is getting the angle of the wire to sort of work with your current grip. And this thing I find so useful. Especially when you're having to continuously inspect your work. This thing's a bit too high. Because you just sort of ping it back and forth like that. So yeah, I recommend these personally. Sometimes I have to reflow a couple, that's okay. Cool. So yeah, do the rest, and then on these ones, because I've already done one line, what I'm going to do is just do this. And see how well I did before without the template, which is fine, looks okay. So you'd probably be fine if you didn't do it this method. This one felt a little bit stiffer, but it will work. But this one, I you know, you already know that they fit nice. So yeah, figuring it out as I go along. Okay, so I don't know if it's any quicker, but it was a lot easier than doing these one by one, this line on its own here. So if anyone were interested, I would suggest that would be the better way. So now I've got to finish this line, half of which is done. So I'm just going to take one of these, see, there we go. So it's already half in, so it should be a bit easier actually. Still want to maintain pressure from underneath. Now that first one's in, I don't need to apply pressure. I can lean on this a little bit for stability. Nice. So I'm just going to finish these, and then these ones should be easier because they sort of drop in and they're nice and stable, kind of stable actually. There's still a bit of possibility for a wiggle, so just need to have a little think about how best to make sure they align nicely. And then there's this power header connector that goes here, which is fine. That's on there. So the wires come out of there for 12 volt ground and so on. Cool. Okay, all done. Well, all done. The 4 pin female headers are all done here. These are pretty cool. so you can put a switch or a pot or a track socket, whatever. Very useful. I know this is pedantic, but I can already see imperfections. Probably can't see there, but I can see the shadows are not aligned. It doesn't matter. But yeah. Okay, so now I'm just going to simply get these 16 pin headers in and this last 8, and then we'll see where we are. Okay, time to stop. So far it's just been headers, which is kind of boring but completely fine. Yeah, not much to say really. Got a few more to do here. There's some to do here as well. Yeah, not too much to this, but it's fun. Right, to be continued. Right, so all of the headers I think are done on the board. Next thing to do, apparently, is to attach this. And I assume from the outline, these notches there and the numbers going this way up has to go on that way. So I'll try not to screw this up. Now that does look good. That looks really good. Nice. So I was a bit confused about this next stage at first, but I think I've worked it out. So it says attach the female spacers to the holes in the PCB using the M3 screws. For each spacer, insert a screw from below, then attach the spacer from the other side. Tighten the spacers, ignore the 4 corner positions for now, and use the shorter 11 mils on the top 6 positions and the longer 23 mil spacers on the bottom 6 positions. Now I think that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long shorts. So I'm going to give that a go. Okay, I don't know if this is right. I'm following the instructions. I'm probably misunderstanding them, but what I've done is I've put 6 shorties here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 of the short ones and 6 of the long ones. I don't know if that's right, but we'll go with it, and I'm sure I'll find out soon enough if it's wrong, which it probably is. We'll see. Okay, so the next stage is with the male-female spacers. I think the way it goes is that those shorties go up there, but they screw down into the holes in the corners, and then you've got the long ones which matches up with that, goes through there and into there. So let's try that. Okay, one thing to be aware of. Don't be an idiot and do it like this. That has been designed, or if it has, or if it hasn't been designed, it just definitely doesn't fit. So it has to be like that. That will work. So do it that way. Yeah, that's looking much more good. I'm still not quite sure what these higher spaces are for, but I'm sure that will become apparent. But so far it's looking pretty mint. Right, let's see what's next. Okay, so we're close now. Next step is to attach this, and it says make sure that there are no nuts on any of these sockets here, but we want one nut at the bottom of the thread on all 4 switches, sorry. So yeah, I think we're good on that. Let's see if I can get this done. I did wonder about these LEDs. Just going to bend them out a bit. I think the LEDs got a bit squashed. Almost. What is the problem here? Interesting. This switch has 2 nuts. I think it only should have 1. Well, I want to try that. See what happens. I wonder why that is. No, that is my mistake. They all have 2 nuts, so that isn't the problem. Right, let's try this again. Okay, I think I see what the problem is. Each of these switches has 2 nuts, and it should only have 1. Each one should only have 1. So let's try that. It did say something about that in the instructions, so that's just me being stupid and not reading the manual. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, that's much better. Right. And then now, that's okay. It's just this corner one isn't lined up that well. But I think I can force it in. The rest of them look okay. Nice. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so almost at the finish line of the first part anyway. Just got to put the nuts back on. So let me do that now. Lovely. Very good. Right. I've just read through and realised now that this allows you to put a lid if you want to take this out with you. So I was wondering what this was. It goes like that, which is really, really awesome. That goes like that. That is wicked. And that will go there. I'm assuming for some kind of add-on. I think the oscilloscope goes there. Right, so what we need to do now is create the bits that go into this. And to do that, you might remember we broke one of these off, so now we need to break the rest of them off. And then we want to get a whole bunch of these fours from these, so we'll do that as well. Actually, finish this job first. Now let's chop these up into fours. going to hang on to this just in case I need a different configuration. I've got enough 4s, but I've run out of solder, so I've got some on order, and then I'm going to get these. Well, what I'm going to do is now I've got these in place, I'm going to get these headers in, or the pins in the headers. Then I'm going to attach the panels. Then I'm going to solder them all in place so they're all nice and easily managed. So yeah, that's the plan. So I don't know if you can see, but got one whole strip left. So I've got 2 more blocks of 4 to cut. So I'll do that now. Now I'm going to place these on here. Now it said specifically you need to, you want to see the outline. So I believe that's the outline, not that. So that goes down, that goes up, I think. There are 2 types. There's the EduPot 1 and the EduSW1. So the EduSW1 takes the switches, as you might be able to see there. Two slots to choose from, and all of those. Oh, I know. I think. No, I don't know. In the pictures, they show a switch that is bigger than this one. It's like double big. But I haven't got any in the kit. I've only got these 2 single pin switches. So I guess you can add to this later with other bits. So being able to get hold of more of these, I think, is definitely a good thing. And then these jack sockets also go into the EduPot ones, so that's making a bit more sense to me because they're going like that. Not sure which way around they go, or even if it matters. I mean, if I get it wrong, I can turn them around, but yeah. Oh wait, one of them's got a square. Anyway, I'll worry about that later. So pots are obviously potentiometers, but one thing it does say is that you should mark them somehow, because they're marked under here, and so I need to get a pen of some sort and Oh no, they're marked on the side as well. Anyway, yeah. Somehow I need to, some of them aren't marked. So that's something I need to do as well. Yeah, but without any solder, I can't do anything more tonight. So I'm going to leave it and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm wondering actually, I don't think I need these things. As nice as they would be, as lovely as these things are, and it would be nice to, you know, have your interface more sort of covered up, if you know what I mean. But if I wanted to change any of these, then I have to unscrew everything, put it back. So I guess I could use knurlies maybe. Let's see if this works. Yeah, cool. Okay, that works. I have to say though, the M3s that you get are really quite nice. They're sort of brushed steel or something, I don't know. Yeah, they just look nice. But this means that I can take this on and off without needing a screwdriver, which is kind of helpful. So they can stay on there. Then I'm going to use these nice M3s just to keep this cover on the expansion spots. By the way, these little screwdrivers are really awesome because it has this turning thing here which lets you do your motions very quickly without having to change your wrists or you know, change your grip. So that's all good. And the other thing I was going to do is just take these off, because these are for this, and the only reason I would have this on is if I didn't have anything plugged in. And at the moment I'm not taking this anywhere, so all these things are doing are just sort of getting in the way. I'm going to need to take everything off to unscrew, because they're screws from underneath. So I'm going to take these two off, these four off eventually. Run out of solder, so I can't finish the little breakout boards, which is annoying, but I have solder tomorrow, so I'll finish that off tomorrow. So the only other thing I wanted to update on with the Labor is when I plugged this in to do a test, stuck in my headphones, and I got this very loud hum, and apparently, according to Mod Wiggler, Moritz Klein commented on there himself and said that apparently 2 out of the 3 inputs are buffered or not buffered. Not buffered, I think he said. So to get around that, I think in a state where there's nothing else going on and you want to just check the stuff, and to avoid that hum, you need to connect the ins to ground. So I've taken the ground out of the power header thing here. So the third one up from the bottom is ground. That's going into the ground rail, and I've then got the ins connected to the ground. Then when I plugged in my headphones, it was silent, so that's good. Yeah, so it's almost done. I just need to get some solder, and then I can get on with messing around with it. Quick update, I found some solder, so I'm going to have a go at getting some of these in. So yeah, there's nothing much to it really. Just as a reminder, I've got these boards already lined up on the male headers, which means that I know that they're nice and straight. So I'm going to solder them in situ and then take them out. So yeah, I'm just going to get on with that. Hopefully have something to play with quite soon. Okay, so quick update. I've done the first row and I've pulled them out, and I've chucked in or started to put in the pots, and I've also labelled them as suggested, just so I know what I'm dealing with. They all will have their labels, and this is what we're working with here now. We've got these little breakout board thingies, and this can only go in one way, so you put your 3 legs in there. It's obviously just for the pots. There you go, and then you just simply have to solder in those 3 points. Possibly you could solder in the anchors, but I may not bother. Yeah, and then I'm going to carry on with the rest of these and just make my way through the components really. Hopefully I can find enough solder to get this stage done, and then I'll have a whole bunch of these pots that I can plug in. And the really cool thing about this is that I can take the output of this pot from one of these headers out straight into the board using a jumper. So that's going to be a massive time saver, and also keeps everything really solid as well. So, you know, we've all, I'm sure, had things like that and sort of wiggling around and connections are loose and all the rest of it. So yeah, this is going to be a real step up. So yes, very cool.